and warm greetings to all of you. Thank you for joining us for this workshop, which Dr. Gunjan is going to conduct. And the topic for today is health through Ayurveda and some immune boosting drinks. So I would like to ask Dr. Gunjan to just give a brief introduction about her, and then we can follow up with the workshop, with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Namaste to all. I myself, Dr. Gunjan Sabarwal, and I am an Ayurvedic physician, currently working in All India Institute of Ayurveda. And my expertise is in Swasthrita, and Swasthrita means preventive and curative aspect of Ayurveda. So today we will be dealing in the preventive and curative aspect of Ayurveda, and I hope you will enjoy and learn in this workshop. So we will start with the first session, which is health through Ayurveda. After the end of the session, you can ask your queries. So firstly, we all know that health is a science and also an art. How we can prevent the disease, prolong our life, and promote the health through our organized efforts. So mainly the goal is to promote health, store health, restore our health. When we got any disease, we have to restore our health, and then to minimize the disease and the stress. So what Ayurveda says? Ayurveda says that we have three bodily humors, Vat, Pitta, and Kapha. So when all the three, they are in equilibrium, then we can say that a person is in good state of health. So it is a balanced state of the doshas, Vat, Pitta, and Kapha, and also the balanced state of Agni. Agni is mainly the digestive fire. It is said that all the metabolic diseases, they occur due to impaired digestive fire. So if our digestive fire, which is called Agni in Ayurveda, is balanced, then we can have a good state of health. So there should be a balance between body, mind, and soul, because Ayurveda not only consider physical health, but mental health is also given importance. So in the psychological health, we have the terms like Prasanna, Atma, Indriya, and Man. They are all relative, that we have happy soul, our senses, our sense organs, and our mind. Then we can say that we are psychologically healthy. So apart from this, one of the important aspect is the social health, and it is also given importance in Ayurveda. So there are many rules of conduct which are given, which emphasize on the social and the behavioral aspects of life, because wrong social conducts are the basis for most of the psychological and also many physical diseases. Person can attain the effect of rejuvenate therapy only if he is healthy and free from all the uh, psychological conditions like anger, stress, etc., and should not be addicted to anything like alcohol, and should not indulge in any kind of violence. So mainly Ayurveda emphasizes on a peaceful state, and for that the practice of japa, that is muttering the prayers, and cleanliness of both mind and body is important. So what is the role of Ayurveda in the public health? So Ayurveda can be an effective answer to the preventive principles, because not only they are cost effective, but they can be adapted easily. Further, the Ayurvedic managements, they are least adverse effects, and they can not only cure, but they can also take a part in preventing the complications arising due to them, if we implement the Ayurvedic strategies at the early stage of the disease. So what are the strengths of Ayurveda which we can adopt? Because it is a total healthcare system. It emphasizes on mental health. It is also emphasize what is the role of spiritual way of life. Then there is rejuvenation therapies, which are known as rasayanas in Ayurveda. The strength of Ayurveda is Panchkarma therapy and is very effective. Then we all know that in today's era, lifestyle disorders are at peak because of the disturbed lifestyle. And if we go into the contemporary medicine, they don't have much answer to this. But Ayurveda can give you an answer to all these lifestyle disorders. and also to the chronic and incurable diseases if they are treated at the early stage. So, for the healthy way of living, which is described in the Ayurveda, they are divided into regimes. Ayurveda has described about the daily regimes, the seasonal regimes, the code of conduct. So, in case of the daily regime, which we call it as a dincharya, what Ayurveda recommends that we should have a daily routine of good hygiene, moderate exercise, healthy diet, efficient elimination of waste, and positive mental outlook. What it does is that it helps in bringing the fundamental changes in the body, mind, and our consciousness. It helps to establish the balance in one's own prakriti. So it is a unique concept of Ayurveda that every individual has its own unique prakriti. Like I said it previously, there are three bodily humors: Vat, Pitta, and Kapha. So our body is made up of these three elements, and every individual has different body constituent. So to it what if we understand this prakriti, it helps to regularize the biological clock, which is also known as circadian rhythm. So this circadian rhythm, what it does, it helps in the proper digestion, absorption, and assimilation of food. Because if we say we there is a popular quote from Hippocrates that let food be the medicine. So if food is properly digested, then we cannot we there is no need for medicine to take. So one has to identify its own prakriti, its own body constitution, and accordingly should perform the daily regimen. Then what it does, it helps in generating the discipline, self-esteem, peace, happiness, and longevity. So the first thing which is described in Ayurveda regarding the daily regime is Brahma Muhurat Jagran, which is known as waking up early in the morning. And the period which is described is 1 hour and 36 minutes before the sunrise. So we can just predict in our country or wherever we live that before the sunrise, we have to wake up 1 hour and 60 minutes prior. What it helps are, because we have seen that the late bedtimes and late wake up times, they are associated with many unhealthy activities, unfavorable, and our weight status profile also depends on our waking and sleep timing. Also our hormones imbalance and another thing also depends on this. So we should wake up early in the morning. Also there are studies that the children who wake up early in the morning, they have lower BMI. So that means they have the chances of obesity are less among the children who wake up early in the morning. So this is a practice which we can develop from the childhood only, so that we can be healthy. Next, what Ayurveda says that we should do Ushapan, that is drinking of water. So after waking up, we should take at least 500 to 700 ml of water during the Brahma Muhurat. So this there are many options. You can take a regular water or a warm water, or you can even take a water which is kept in copper vessel during the night. What it does is helps in the easy evacuation of bowels. Nowadays we have seen that people face many issues related to the digestion, and constipation is one of the major problem among the population. So just to ease out that, we can adopt this simple measure that we, after waking up immediately, we can drink up to 700 of ml of water. And also it can prevent many diseases related to the digestion. Next, what we should do is we should gargle and mouth rinse. So gargle is gandush in Ayurveda, and there is a minimum difference between gandush and kaval, gargling and mouth rinsing. In gargling, what we have to do is we just have to fill our mouth with liquid and hold it for 3 to 5 minutes. That liquid can be a warm water or a medicated one. Next is kaval, which is mouth rinsing. In this, we have to constantly move the liquid in all the directions for 5 to 10 minutes. So this gargling we can do according to the prakriti. So if a patient is kapha prakriti, so patient, how can he identify that he has kapha dominance? Mainly kapha prakriti people, they are more healthier. They are more towards obesity. They are more healthier. So they can what do? They can gargle with warm water. Vat prakriti, the people who are very lean and thin, they are mainly of vat prakriti. So to elevate vat, what they can do is they can gargle with oil. Similarly, the pitta prakriti patient can gargle with dugdh, which is milk, or cold water, or khadir. It is a medicated plant, easily available all over the India. Next, what is importance? Because we know eyes are the most important sensory organs. So what we can do is we can clean our eyes. So cleaning our eyes with water is known as Akshi Sinchan in Ayurveda. So we can use simple water or Trifla, which is a mixture of 3 herbs, Avla, Baheda, and Harhar. So we can clean the eyes with that also. So to prepare that decoction, what we can do is the Trifla powder we can keep overnight in water, and then in the morning we can sieve it and clean our eyes with that, or simply with the milk mixed with the decoction or plain milk. So what happens is the many of the eyes collect many secretions overnight. So in the morning, if we clean our eyes, then it can clean all the secretions, and mainly the burning sensation problem in the eyes or dry eyes, we can avoid that, and it also improves the vision. Next is the body massage. So massage is basically defined in Ayurveda as the procedure of smearing the body gently with medicated or non-medicated oils. Although it is recommended that we should do massage daily, but if we see in today's time, people don't have much time to do this practice regularly. So what they can do is they can do at least twice a week, or if that only not possible, at least they can do head and foot massage regularly. What it does is that if we do massage daily, it nourishes the body, improves the luster and complexion of the skin, and also it delays the aging process. It is mainly helpful for patients like who has sleep problems, who have difficulty in sleeping, insomnia condition. So the person who massages daily can get a sound sleep. Also, the body humor vat, it gets specified, and the disease of muscular skeletal system can be avoided. Then the other important aspect in Ayurveda is sleep. Basically, in Ayurveda, our diet and sleep, they are regarded as the pillars of our health. So sleep has given a prime importance in Ayurveda. So if we look at the Prakriti, because Kafaj Prakriti people, they are more towards obesity. They have the tendency to gain weight. So they should avoid day sleep weight. Position is mentioned in Ayurveda that one should always sleep left-sided. The main reason could be because our heart is located on the left side, and it is given that sleeping in that position can help improving the digestion, and one should sleep at a comfortable bed. Then we all know that there is a huge transition in if we look at last 50 to 60 years, mainly because of urbanization, more development. So what happens is our physical activity has decreased because we have more access to technology nowadays. So these occupational shifts and comfortable, we got all the comforts at our convenience. So this has resulted in the decline in the physical activity. Also, we have mostly ready to eat foods, and so we have all the microwaves around us. So the diet pattern has changed drastically. So it has affected the nutrition value. So earlier, more people used to take millets. Now there is a transition from millets to rice. Although rice is also healthy, but millets were much healthier. We are having more processed foods. So what this transition has done is it has increased the lifestyle disorders. Now, ahar is mainly diet. So what Ayurveda recommends is what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat. These are the three main questions which Ayurveda answers very precisely. So what they do is these functions can alter our process of metabolism. So this question you should always ask to yourself, that what I should eat, when I should eat, and how I should eat it. Because these three are very important. They play a very important role in your digestion, in improving your metabolism. So before having any meal, you must ask these questions to yourself. So what Ayurveda says. First is this is a quote from Ayurveda, Nitya Sarvaras. Ayurveda has mainly described about the rasas, which are like sweet taste, sour taste, astringent taste. So there are 6 in Ayurveda. So we should consume all of them. In our daily lives, we see that mostly people, some says that no, I avoid sweets because I don't like them, or I avoid sour foods because I don't like them. But we should not do like this. We should have the habit of eating all the rasas, because all have their unique property and all helps in the nourishment. There are choices, there can be choices, like one is more likely to take sweet dishes, so they can take that in good quantity but should not avoid others. So there must be a balanced diet. If we see there is a difference in modern terminology. The balanced diet comprises of a proper amount of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins. But in Ayurveda, the more emphasis is given on the taste, sweet taste, sour taste. So we should take all the 6 taste. So food. So first we talked about when to eat, right? So the time which is described is only when you are hungry. But one should take, this is a code described in Ayurveda, but it does not mean that you can eat at any irregular time. You should fix that time so that your circadian rhythm becomes like that, that you will be hungry at that time only. For example, if one wakes up at 6 a.m. and takes food at around 7:30, so if daily he or she will take at that time, then automatically the biological rhythm will become like that. So we should practice that. And the frequency of meal should only be twice a day. In between, we can take snacks. Okay. And all when we should eat according to your digestive capacity. This also differs in the aspect as we see from the nutrition part of view, because what modern view suggests that we should take a proper calorie fixed diet. Like age wise, the calorie requirement is fixed, but Ayurveda says that calories are okay, that we should consider because they are important, but we should also see our digestive capacity and we should eat accordingly. And one should not eat up to full satiety. One should always we should always eat up to one third of our hunger. And that is why right quantity of food is important. And water intake is also very important during the food, because if we see that there are people who drink water before meal, then there are people who drink water in between the meals, and few people drink water after the meal. So all these three have their own importance, and Ayurveda has described it like, for example, if a person is obese and if he or she drinks water after the meal, so what it does, it will decrease the digestive fire. So metabolism will be slow and it will ultimately lead to obesity. So obese patients should always drink water before their meal. And if a person is lean and thin and he wants to gain the weight, so he can take the water after meal. And those who are in the perfect healthy state, they can drink water in between the meals. So the pattern of having meals is also described in Ayurveda. So digestion is the main problem nowadays. So how can we digest our food properly? So doesn't matter what you take in the lunch, dinner, or breakfast. You can have a practice that always take salt and ginger before each meal. Ginger and salt, they have a potency, and they helps in improving the digestion. So we should make a habit, but it also depends on health condition also. This is for a healthy individual. If a person is suppose hypertensive, then he or she always must consult the physician before adopting such measures, because salt intake is restricted for the hypertensive patients. So this we must take care. Next is the improper food habits, which we should avoid, like excessive eating, untimely food, and less quantity of food. Because if we eat less quantity of food, our body will not get enough nourishment, and it can lead to malnourishment. So according to our body constitution, according to our circadian rhythm, according to our sleep and wake up time, we must take proper amount of food. And this is what I have in the previous slides described about what we can take before the food. Now after the food, what we have to do. Most of the people have the habit that after the having food, they simply lie down or sleep, especially during the night time. This should strictly be avoided. What we can do is, after having food, if not possible, at least walk for 100 steps. Count 100 steps and take a walk. And and avoid strenuous work. One should not do strenuous work immediately after having the food. Now there is I have given few examples of a prakriti wise food, how a prakriti wise we can take food, like vatik prakriti. Vataj people, they have the most qualities, like their skin can be dry, rough, they will be lean and thin. So what they can do is, they can take the food which is uh, unctus in nature, known as, and which are heavy, so that the dryness and roughness, they can be removed. So they can take sweets, milk, ghee, rice, coconut water, grapes, soft and moderately oily and sour foods. Light and non-vegan diet can be taken. So here oily does not mean that we have to fry the food. We can simply add a ghee in our chapati. That will be enough for the for to take in diet. Next are the restricted food, which we should avoid if we are having a Vat predominant Prakriti. So we should not drink much of alcohol. Pungent foods like green chilies or spicy food, that should be avoided, because they will what do? They will increase the dryness in our body. Next is similarly Pitta Prakriti. Mainly the Pitta Prakriti people, they will experience, they will always complain that I cannot tolerate the heat, and they will always have a good digestion, but they will also experience burning sensation because of this pitta. Because what ayurveda says, pitta is equivalent to the digestive fire. So the person who are having pitta prakriti, they are more prone to digestive problems. So what they can take is, they can take ghee, milk, sweet, bitter and astringent foods, soft and cold foods, because the heat is more in that kind of people, so they can take cold foods. Then they can have rice, wheat, millets, and there are words like mudg, sharkara, patol, avla. These are all the vegetables which are mentioned in ayurveda, like Indian gooseberry, right? Mansras is mainly meat soup. They can take meat soup, not meat, because meat, what we will do is, it will increase the digestive fire, it will increase the heat in the body. So instead of meat, what they can do is, they can take soup. These are the restricted food for Pitta Prakriti. They should avoid full meals. Curd is avoided, because plain curd is avoided. They can take curd if they mix something like black pepper, salt in it, they can have it, but plain curd must be avoided. Spicy and hot food or oily food should be avoided. Then another kind of persons are Kapha Prakriti. So Kaph mainly have unctuousness in the body, heaviness in the body. So they should take the food which is opposite to these qualities. So dry, pungent, bitter and astringent foods are opposite to the qualities of Kapha Prakriti. people, so they should take these things. Then honey is very good for kapha prakriti. You have there are many people saying that if you are obese, then you can take warm water and mix honey in the morning and take it. So that is why they recommend it. Then green gram is healthy. Millets like ragi, jwar, bajra, they are healthier. Ginger water is also helpful. These are the restricted food like heavy to digest food, cold foods, sweets, and sour foods. Then another important concept of Ayurveda is season-wise diet. This is what Prakriti-wise diet should be, but it should be according to the season. Seasonal regime is also very important. If we think from the Ayurveda point of view, you have seen that in summers, we don't feel much of hunger because our digestive fires are low. But in winters, it is just opposite. We feel more hungry. And there is a tendency that people eat at many intervals in winter season. So this Hemant and Shishir Ritu, they are the winter seasons. And what we can do is we can take, because winter, what it does is, because of very heavy cold winds, it takes away the unctuousness from our body and creates dryness in the environment. So we can take the opposite food like unctuous, sweet, sour, and salty taste foods. Similarly, the recipes which are made of fatty meals. Because what happens is, if we take light to digest food in winters, then we will feel hunger at a less interval of time. So to avoid that and to stick to the law of Ayurveda that we should eat only twice a day, we can have a heavy meal once in breakfast. So the meat we can take of animals, and black gram we can take. Then wheat flour is healthier in winters. Milk and milk products we can take. So the preferred lifestyle would be, we all know that we should wear the warm clothes. Then massage is very important. In summers, we can avoid massage, but winters, we should do it regularly. And if not, we can do it on forehead or foot. Then Udvartan is a body powdered massage we can do. So soon after the massage with oils, to make it more effective, what we can do is we can do a powdered massage. These are some of the recipes we can take during the winters, like bajra, makki roti, laddus. Laddus are very healthier during the winters. Then Grishma Ritu is during the, what we should do during summer season. So we can take sweet, oily, and cold substances because they are easy to digest. Then this rice, there is a variety of rice which is known as Shayali rice. It is red in color. So we can take that with cow milk and butter regularly. Then there is a mention of mantha. Mantha is nothing but a juice form of any drink. So we can take that along with add sugar in it. Then what we can do is liquid, we should take it in ample quantity, and beverages, all other beverages other than any other beverages we can take, but we should add sugar to it. And it is preferred that we must stay indoors during this time, because sun rays can cause problems like heat stroke, etc. And day sleeping mainly is indicated in summers. In winters, day sleeping is not indicated in Ayurveda. Why? Because in summers, days are bit longer, so we can sleep at daytime. And clothes, we should wear light clothes, and creams and lotions, all we should apply regularly so that it can soothe our body. Similarly, during the rainy seasons, because in the rainy season, what happens is, rainy season is called Varsha Ritu in Ayurveda. So what happens is, our digestive system is weak during the rains, if you have observed it. So we should consume easy to digest food. So sour, salty, and unctuous food should be taken. And buttermilk is considered good because it has a probiotic content, right? So it is required for a healthy gut. So we can take that with added black salt in it. That's all for this session. Thank you so much for your patient listening. If you have any queries, you can ask. Then we will start with another session. Anyone having any query can ask.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
My name is Susana, and I would like to know, how can I know which type of constitution do I have?
Yes, actually there are easily answered questionnaire available, which we will share you. Through that questionnaire, through your scoring, they have questions regarding which type of hair you have, which type of skin you have, how long you sleep. Like this, there are questions. This we will share, and if you answer that as according to that score, you can analyze that which body constitution you have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Yes.
one question.
Yes.
Can we take buttermilk in the evening?
See, in winters it should be avoided, but during the summer season you can take buttermilk in the evening, or even during the rainy season, if the winds are not blowing fast, there is not much cold in the evening, you can take. Otherwise, it is advisable that you should take it with lunch only.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Question. Yes, please. I want to know if it's better use pillow or no pillow when you are sleeping. Thank you.
See, it depends on a person. If you are having any kind of neck pain or spinal injury or issues, then you must avoid pillow, right? But if you are not having it, you can have a pillow.
Hi, Dr. Gunjan, there is one girl, Manogya. She has a question that in what form we should take ginger and salt. She just wrote
Yes.
the question.
Yes, see, there are two ways which you can take. If you can make it regularly, like you should crush ginger and take and add a pinch of salt in it, and then can have it, chew it. And if it is inconvenient that to regularly do it, what you can do it, you can dry the ginger, cut it in small pieces and dry it in the sunlight. After drying, what you can do is you can add a pinch of salt. So this composition, it can last for a week. So either way you can take. Is the questions, is there any other question, or should I start with another session?
Yes, I have one last question about the massage that we're supposed to have every day. How is the massage and which type of oil do we need to use?
Yes, for every day you can use mustard oil or coconut oil. Massage you can do for 10 to 15 minutes daily. You can start from either from head to toe or toe to head. Okay. And if there are winters, then you can simply heat the oil, and in summers you can avoid and take it in intervals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
What can be the substitute of mustard oil? Because the lady who has asked the question, she's from Central America, and mustard oil is not available there.
Yes,
So what
they can they can use coconut oil or virgin oil, any oil. Olive oil is also good, so they can use that. So shall we start with another session?
I think yes. If everybody is done with their questions, we can start with the next presentation, which is for immune boosting drinks.
Okay.
I guess we can start.
So now we will start with our second session, which are immunity boosting drinks in Ayurveda. So during this time, we must have realized the importance of immunity during this COVID pandemic time. So in this session, I will be taking few drinks which you can prepare easily, and their contents, they are easily available. So there won't be any issue that you will not get. So these you can prepare and have it on regular basis, like once or twice in a week, so as to maintain a proper health. So first, it is known as a Dugdh Kashaya. Dugdh is mainly milk. So it is a tea form of preparation, and it is also a traditional herbal drink of Karnataka. So it has mainly two ingredients. One is milk and another is the kashaya powder, which you can make easily by adding these four contents: cumin seeds, coriander seeds, cardamom, and black pepper. So cumin seeds and coriander, it should be added in the equal quantity, and cardamom and black pepper, as I mentioned, like 4 to 5 cardamom and 10 black peppers. So this powder you can prepare easily, and this you preserve it. And jaggery you must take in replacement of sugar. If not, you can take sugar also. So how it will be prepared? The ingredients which I already mentioned, they are to be heated on low flame for 5 minutes, then grind it into the powdered form. This you can preserve it. Then boil the milk and take 2 teaspoons of that powder and add it in it. Boil the milk for around 3 minutes until the aroma of spices come. Then we can add jaggery syrup or sugar. What are the properties? What it does, it can be a substitute to tea. Many people say that we are addicted to tea and we cannot get out of that addiction. So this can be a substitute, healthier substitute of tea. And it has a properties like it will act as coolant. After tea, what we experience is we experience burning sensation. So to avoid this, can be a solution because it will act as a coolant and it is a good appetizer. So it can be a general health drink for gaining the strength. And in case of acidity, instead of tea, you should take this preparation. Another is the jambu. Jambu drink is mainly made by the Indian black plum. So it can be an healthier and easier option because it has only 3 ingredients: Indian black plum, water, and black salt. If it is a choice, then you can add the roasted cumin seed powder. If not available, then you can avoid it. So how can we prepare it? The 100 grams of jamun is taken and it will be grinded. We can grind it in both ways. If we will grind it with seeds, it will be much beneficial, but it has some astringent taste. So if you don't like the taste, you can avoid the seeds and take it without seeds. Then add the 400 ml of water to the paste and mix it well. Then after that, there is an option, you can add the roasted cumin seeds powder or not, and add a salt according to the taste. So this is how it gets prepared. It is a very easy preparation. It is astringent, sweet, and sour in taste, but it is very light to digest and dry in nature and cool in quantity. So it can be a beneficial, and it is a proven drink if you want to prevent the diabetes. In diabetes, Indian plum is very helpful. So one can take it. Even a diabetic patient, if he takes it regularly, then it may help in decreasing its blood sugar level. So this we can prepare easily. Next is Amla. Amla is Indian gooseberry, and we know that it has many, good properties. In this COVID time also, when it comes to the vitamin C, many have recommended Amla to take it regularly because it is a rich source of vitamin C and it has rejuvenating properties. There are only 2 ingredients. One is Amla and water. You can add salt if you want to. So what we can do is Amla, chop it in pieces and remove the seeds. And when we obtain the juice by grinding them, squeeze them into paste and mix them with the water. We can add rock salt or sugar if we want, just to enhance the taste. Otherwise, it is healthier if we take it in without adding sugar or salt. Next is the bale juice. So bale is very helpful. So it is a fruit and its shell is hard to break, but inside the pulp we see that it is quite soft and meshy. So what we can do is we can remove the outer shell and take the pulp out. It also has only 3 ingredients: bale fruit, water, and sugar or black salt as per the taste. So how we can do it? Firstly, wash the fruits properly, then uh, use a rolling pin to hit the hard shell all around. Then once it break, crack open and scoop out the pulpy part from within. This pulpy part, what you do is take it in the bowl and add water to it. Then mash the pulp till it softens. So this you have to do. You have to mash it properly, and when it becomes semi-solid in consistency, you should mash it till that time. Then strain the mixture to remove any solid particles or impurities, and add sugar to it as per taste. You can also add jaggery syrup, and you can also add salt. Next is the chincha panak. Chincha is mainly tamarind. So chincha is tamarind, and it is very much helpful in digestion. It is a carminative and it is a blood tonic. So it has multiple health benefits. So what we can do is we can take tamarind, sugar, black pepper, it is marich, jeera, cumin powder, and rock salt. So in this quantity, if we take, then how can we make? Simply what we have to do is smash the tamarind in the bowl and add water to it, add all the 4 ingredients and mix it well. It is a very good for digestion. If you are having any digestive issues, digestive relative problems, then you can take it. And you can even take it regularly for 4 to 5 days if you are having acidity, heartburn, or constipation. Otherwise, you in winters, you should not take it regularly. You can take it once in a week. Next is khajur. Khajur is date. So we prepared it in the form of a syrup preparation. So what we can take the quantity as mentioned, that we should take dates 50 grams, and water quantity which is mentioned, it is 64 times of khajur. Like if you are taking 50 grams of dates, then the water which is to be added is 64 times of that of 50 grams. Then add black pepper, cardamom powder, and jaggery. So what we should do is first remove the seeds from the dates and then process it in a coarse powder form. Then heat a pan on medium flame, and once heated, then add water and the dates powder. Allow it to boil till half of the total quantity of water remains. Remove from the flame and cool it. After cooling it, add pepper powder and cardamom powder. So it can, what it do is dates, it comes under dry foods, and it is a good source of strength. So you can get a good strength if you drink it. Mostly even in this time, we feel weakness, right? Post-COVID also, this can be a very helpful, because weakness, fatigue, we all feel after a heavy work or anything. So we can take it after that. Next is Dhanya Khim. It is known as coriander infusion. It is a very simple yet powerful preparation for digestion. So him is mainly the cold infusion, also known as Sheet Kashayam. So what we do is we can take a coriander seeds, 25 grams, and 150 ml of water. So how we can prepare it? We can crush the coriander seeds in a coarse powder form using a mortar or pestle, then add sixth amount, that is 150 ml of water. Keep it overnight in a pot. Ideal is that moonlight, because why we keep it overnight? Because to add the moonlight to it, because moonlight has the cooling effect. So we should keep it in the outer space. And the next morning, mix the seeds and water with the hands and then strain through a muslin cloth. Next is the kanji. Kanji is a very good probiotic product. So if we see that probiotic products mainly nowadays available, which are available in the market, they are mainly milk based. So milk, many people are lactose intolerant, so they cannot have it. So this kanji, which is made up of carrot, it can be a substitute drink for those, because probiotics, they have a very important role. They help in maintaining our gut health. Healthy gut bacteria are produced if we take probiotics regularly. And if we see that in the market, black color carrot is not easy to find. So we can also take the red carrot. If we get the black carrot, then it is good. If we don't get black carrot, then we can take red carrot. So these are the ingredients: carrot 300 grams, then water, black salt, turmeric powder, chili powder. This you can take, it is optional. It is a herbal Ayurvedic powder known as Panchkol. It has a few medicated powders combination. It is a combination of few medicated powders. This you can take or avoid if not available. And yellow mustard. So how it is prepared is, first you should rinse and peel the carrots and chop it into the long pieces. The pieces must be equal, size should be equal. They should not be too thick or too thin. And then mix all the ingredients in glass and add the water. Then add black salt, turmeric powder, red chili powder. Panchkol churn is optional. And then thereafter add the mustard seed. You should cover that with a lid and keep this jar in sun rays for 3 to 4 days, because 3 to 4 days time is required for the fermentation. After 3 to 4 days, you can smell the astringent taste. So after 3 to 4 days, it gets fermented well. So when you remove the mescaline cloth, you should stir the preparation well with the wooden spoon. And also every day you should check it and stir it well. This is kanji will taste sour and it is a fermented drink. Thank you. These are few drinks which I mentioned, because there are many other immunity boosting drinks which you can take, but these are the easiest to prepare. So you can always have them. So if any question is there, then you can ask.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can I give these drinks to kids also?
Yes, this drink is healthier, and you can give it to kids also.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. How will we prepare jaggery syrup? Just putting water in it.
Put water in that and heat it in low flame. There is a method which you can say that the jaggery syrup is made properly. Just took out the syrup and hold it between the two fingers. If the simply open the fingers. If it is 2 threads appear, then you can say that the jaggery syrup is prepared well.
So we have to boil it.
Yes, you have to boil it and wait until it forms 2 threads.
2 threads.
Right. Or there is another method. What you can do is, you can take a bowl and add water in it, and you dip the jaggery syrup which you are preparing into that. If it floats on water, then it means that it is prepared well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question?
We can, excuse me?
Yes.
We can use this powder in, we can use this syrup in tea also. Jaggery
Yes.
syrup.
Yes, you can use it, but jaggery you have to add after the preparation.
Okay.
Yes. Is there any other question? Thank you all for the patient listening, and I hope you have enjoyed today's workshop. Namaste to all, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste, Tanya. Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste, Tanya. Thanks.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye, Tanya. See you later.
Hello.